Morning, Marysville. Thank you for tuning in on Channel 23 Comcast. You're here joining us on Charger Chat. Charger Chat is a live student-run TV show where we interview various people around Marysville. Today, we have Mr. Hollstein. He is our new principal here at our school. And how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful after that great fire drill we just had.
Yeah. Now, what job did you see yourself having when you were in high school?
When I was in high school, I wanted to go do anything in the field of art. So that was kind of I had no idea I wanted to be a teacher or, heaven forbid, a principal or something. So that's what I wanted to do. It was my passion in high school was to do art.
What kind of art were you mostly interested in?
Painting.
Painting?
Painting, yes.
Nice.
Did you have like years of experience behind it, or was it something that you kind of just
during high school, or no? Well, I've always could draw really well and stuff, so I've always enjoyed art. My grandfather was an artist, and my dad painted, and so it was kind of in the family, and so I just had an interest in art. So I didn't really. My only real career goal was to get into the art field somehow and just do art.
How would you say your like career changed from art into like the academics and teaching?
Teaching? You want the whole history, huh?
Yeah.
It started out, well, of course, I did art in high school, and then I went to Green River Community College, which is in Auburn, and I went there to get my associate's degree in graphic arts, actually. There, did a lot of, minored in art history. From there, I was still interested in art, obviously, so then I transferred to Western, and in Western I got my BA in fine arts, which was painting. And then after I graduated there, someone said, well, why don't you go back and get your teaching certificate too at the same time, just to kind of have something else to do. And I thought about it, and I said, oh, okay. So I decided to go ahead and go in after I graduated. And I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to like this, and I liked my teachers, but I never thought about being a teacher. And that first day when I went into the classroom, I knew that was kind of the thing I wanted to do. I did my student teaching in Blaine, way up there up north. I found out I really liked it and enjoyed it, and it was in the art field, so and then I just continued to do art and did my student teaching there. Then I got out of that program, which was a student teaching program. And then had a job in Bellingham, as some odd jobs. I've worked different jobs, and then I got a job interview in Marysville. Got a job in Marysville and started out teaching art, obviously, at Totem, which used to be called the junior high. And then I taught there for many years, and then eventually someone said, "Why don't you?" Well, actually, from there I went to the University of Washington. And decided to get a second degree, BA degree in communications, because I thought, I want to go into advertising, I want to get out of teaching. And got my BA from the University of Washington, and I worked a little bit in the communications departments at the General Hospital and Providence. I worked at PUD in their communications, worked up for a little bit in advertising. Found out I didn't really, I liked teaching more, so I said I'd come back to teaching. So I came back to teaching, and since I decided to stay in teaching, I decided, well, I'll get my master's now. So I got it in adult education, of all things, and then I could use it in business and stuff, so I thought that would be good. And then eventually someone said, well, why don't you get your principal certificate? And I go, I don't know. I like teaching, because I really enjoy teaching. And so I said, okay, I'll give it a try, and then I got an assistant principal job at Totem, and then I was assistant principal at Marysville Middle School. And then they had all the big cutbacks and everything, and I said, I'll just go back to teaching because I really like teaching. Was at Pilchuck that 1 year before we moved up here, and then started teaching. This is a long history here. Started teaching here. I really liked what I still enjoy teaching a lot, And then they asked me, well, would you mind filling in at the athletic as an athletic coordinator? And I said, well, I'll do it temporarily. I found out I really like that, so I've been doing that for 4 or 5 years now. And then they asked me, would you mind, because they needed someone to fill in here, and I said, well, I'll come and fill in for a while. And so that's how I got here. So I don't know what's going to happen at the end. I may go back to teaching. I may stay. Coming up, kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah.
So I still enjoy art. I still paint and do paintings. And I'm really big into photography. When I retire, I want to do that professionally. So I have I've done weddings and senior portraits and all that kind of stuff, and I got all the equipment. So I'm in the process of combining my photography and painting. And so let's say you're interested in whatever. What's your hobby? You have a hobby?
I do actually. I'm artistic, and I take photography.
Okay. So maybe I would take pictures of you with your camera or doing something with that, and then I take that and blow them up and cut them up and make a collage, and then I paint over all that so I can customize it. So I've sold a couple of paintings doing that. So you can customize the painting to whatever your hobby or whatever you want to do.
That's really cool.
That's like a great concept, like mashed together.
Yeah, you mesh it. I used to do collage work and photography early on, then I went to straight painting, and then I'm kind of combining the two now. I just did one for a guy who had a guitar signed by the Who, and had his really nice Corvette. And so I took pictures of his car and his guitar and cut it all up and made a collage out of it and painted over it, and it's like a really huge painting. And of course I sold it to him. He really enjoys it, so it's kind of where I'm at right now.
Would you say that you struggled a lot throughout your entire life getting to where you are now?
Yeah, I don't know, struggling wouldn't be, you had to work at it, work hard at it. And of course, you have your setbacks and stuff. But if you really have a mindset of where you want to go and like I said, art, I just kind of want to go in that direction, not real specific, but something in the art field.
Oh, yeah.
And teaching and even being an administrator is kind of a creative aspect to that too. So as long as it has a creative edge to it, that's kind of the field I wanted to be in.
Since you're talking about how teaching is a very creative way, how would you describe your position right now, and is it like what you thought it would be?
I knew what it would, because I've done it before. And so kind of the main difference is the kids are older, so you can have conversations with them, more intellectual conversations rather than middle school. And the discipline isn't as much, it's far and few between at a high school.
More maturity.
And I liked high school. I had a choice if I wanted to go, when I went back to teaching, if I wanted to go to the high school or middle school. I said, I want to do high school. Because I liked when we had 8 and 9, because that was 9th graders. I liked the older, when they went to 6, 7, 8, I didn't, the younger kids. I mean, they're great, but it just takes a lot more, it's a different type of energy level. And you can notice it at lunch mainly. At lunch, they're nuts and crazy and running around, and they eat lunch in 5 minutes, and they're running around everywhere. In high school, people actually sit and talk, and it's not as crazy as, the energy level's different, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I just enjoy the older kids better.
Yeah. Now, talking more about your principal job that you have here, how would you say you feel being a principal here at ISC? Is it different from other schools?
Well, every school is going to be different. There's even each school on this campus has a different feel. And I really enjoy it. I like it because you have your video, because when I did my student teaching, there was a video class that I really enjoyed. And so, if a school is really creative, like this one is, I enjoy it. So
good.
It's good.
Yeah. Would you want to stay principal if you could?
I would consider it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that. So with you considering, how would you bring more involvement into the student body, bring your touch to the school?
Well, it takes a long time. I can reference athletics, because when I first started there, they'd gone through a couple of coordinators there, and it takes a slow growth. You can't just jump in, and I've only been here 3 months, and I don't even know if I'm going to continue. But if I did continue, you slowly kind of get involved in the school, and just things. I mean, just in this 3 months, I've gotten to know more and more people, and things expand. It's a process that takes a while.
Yeah.
So and plus coming in the middle, kind of odd time of the year.
Yeah.
So if I was here next year, I would start out at the beginning, and kids would know me better and stuff. Probably have an assembly, and I would talk to the student body, and it would be from the beginning. It would be a lot easier than coming in. But you know, over 3-4 years, then things would eventually start to change and evolve.
Yeah.
You know, I get more and more involved in it, and the kids get to know who I am more, and because everything changes, it's evolving, nothing stays static. And so, like in the athletics, it's been about 5 years now, and I've really gotten to know everybody really well.
Yeah.
You know, then you have to build at that trust level. People get to know who you are and your style and all that stuff. So it just takes time, like anything.
Yeah, like get your familiar touch with
Right.
it.
And I'm sure you guys as freshmen, you know, what was going, it took 4 years, and by the time you're a senior, your relationship and your reality of the way you see the school is completely different than the way it is now.
Oh, yeah.
So it just takes time. I mean, the older you coming back and looking at the newer you could, you know, there's a huge growth difference there. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, it just takes time, and then people get to know you and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, we would love to talk more about you being a principal and everything, but we have to take a short break.
Sure.
And watch a segment about what not to do in school.
Okay.
I'll never be able to get this essay done.
All right. Good job.
I know, talk too much
Hey,
sometimes.
I can help you out with that. What do you mean, help out? I can do the essay for you. Are you suggesting cheating?
No. I did this essay last year, and I can get it done pretty well. It's really easy.
Really?
Well, yeah, for a price.
Hey, how's the essay going? Yeah, the essay. Our essay.
Not ringing any bells.
Our essay? The one you're doing for me. How's it going?
Oh, right.
So how's it going?
How's what going?
The essay I paid you for. How's it going?
What essay? Listen, kid, I'm just messing with you. I mean, it's going fantastic.
Can I see it?
Hey, no touching the masterpiece.
Well, I need to know how the essay is going. It's due next week.
Relax, bud. I've got it all taken care of.
That price. I already paid you that price.
I mean, hey, whatever, it's your essay. I don't have to help you.
Fine. So, how's...
Shh! Keep your voice down. Do you know how much I'm risking doing this for you?
Oh, come on, just let me see it.
No touchy. It'll be in your hands before it's due, guaranteed. I know what I'm doing.
I know, it's just, I'm getting worried, and it's due in 3 days.
Listen, kid, I'm an artist. You can't just rush perfection.
I kind of have to rush perfection. There's a deadline.
Well, for you, I pretty like you. I pretty much like you. So you can maybe rush perfection for a price.
How much more do I have to pay you?
This essay's due in 3 days. You said it yourself.
Alright, friends. This is the last time I'm paying for this.
Thanks, kid. Nice doing business with you.
So do you have it? Is it done?
Kid, of course it's done. What did I tell you? I just emailed it to you.
Oh, thank you so much. You're a lifesaver.
Good morning, class.
All right, how many people have their essays done today?
Don't call me.
How about you?
I believe this belongs to the lady over there.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Oh, what's happening? Shoot, the essay.
Good morning, Marysville. Thank you for staying with us. And for those who are just tuning in, this is Charge a Chat, a student-run live TV show where we interview various people. And today we have Mr. Hollstein. Thank you for staying with us for yet another round of questionnaire. Now, you were talking about art and stuff, and I hear that you do graphic design. So what got you into graphic design?
Well, I don't do a lot of graphic. We're talking before they invented the wheel now, when I did graphic design. Graphic design before computers was, you know, we did a lot of stuff on storyboards and things. And but I'm not really a graphic designer anymore. I do fine arts now. But back in the day, it was completely different than it is now, because everything's done on a computer. And so graphic design is not what graphic design used to be. So it's changed completely. Now painting, still painting, except I use my digital camera to take pictures, so that's changed quite a bit. So things have evolved that way.
How do you feel about how graphic design changed over the years? Because you were saying how it was like storyboards and now it's on computers. Do you think that that's more challenging to learn to do it on a computer versus storyboard, or what do you?
Well, you still can. It's a tool, like anything. So it's not really. I mean, you still have to have talent and ability. And once you learn how to use the tool, it's just like learning how to use a paintbrush or you know, watercolor or whatever. It's just a different tool. It's made things easier, but it was also kind of harder because you have to learn the program. You know, I do Photoshop and Lightroom and all that stuff, and it's just manipulating the image and stuff. And in some sense, it's a little easier probably for graphic artists, because you can move things around, manipulate a lot easier than you can. If you make a mistake, you have to start over again drawing it. So you can just, you know, change things. So in a sense, I think the tool has made it easier, but it's also, I mean, you can do some incredible things now with it. Where instead of using an airbrush, you can use an airbrush on a computer. So there's a lot of things you can do with photography, and so I think the tool is advanced it quite a bit. You can be, I mean, you can do some really sophisticated stuff, you know, with just a computer now, where you don't need a huge bank of stuff, you know, to do it. Just like this video class. I mean, technology has advanced so much that, you know, I took a film class in high school, and we had Super 8, no sound, you know, and I had a friend of mine that went on and did a bunch of work in Hollywood and everything, and we had a reunion, and he had Super 8'd a whole bunch of stuff, and then he had a tape recorder and recorded, and you kind of had to match that all up. I mean, now you can just take out your cell phone. I mean, you got video and picture, and you can take really good video with just a cell phone now. It's amazing how
quality.
The quality level. If we had that when we had film class, we could have made some real productions. You know, like you guys are making films, but back then you had to do everything the hard way. You know, you had to develop the film, and you had to match up a soundtrack with that. You know, you can't editing. You had to literally cut the film and paste it back together. You know, it was it was different. It was you had to actually manipulate it by hand and stuff, and have film strips of different scenes, and then you had to edit them and put them together and stuff. So it's in some ways it's harder. It was harder then to do it now. Right. So
out of like all of this type of art you've done, what would you say inspires you?
Inspires me? Just nothing in particular, except that I want to create something. When I'm doing a painting or doing anything creative, that process of creating that thing is the part that I enjoy. The finished product is just the finished product. You know, it's nice to look at it and you enjoy it, but then you're ready to move on. Like in any process, the creating or making of something is where the fun is. You know, like filming, the actual filming and putting it together and doing all that. And then the finished product's great to look at. That's fine, but now you're ready to you're ready to move on to the next. So it's that internal creative drive that makes you happy.
So art comes in all shapes and forms, and so let's take a look at how hairstyling is also an art.
Hairstyle.
Hair. Oh, beautiful hair. Oh my gosh. Hair. Oh, beautiful, beautiful hair. Oh, so beautiful. Yeah, I like your hair. Oh. Oh, hair. Oh, hair. Seriously. Oh, there's so much I can do.
What can you do with
Stand with you. Good.
Yes.
Good.
It's amazing.
All in a day's work.
And welcome back, Marysville. We are still here with Mr. Hollstein.
We are still here.
Yeah. So you were saying athletic coordinator and stuff.
Right.
What sport were you in?
You know, I wasn't a really big sports guy, so
Yeah.
going to athletics was like a huge stretch for me.
Yeah.
And so it was a big learning curve. But I never really did a lot of sports in high school. But I did do fencing in college at Western, and I was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And coaching, believe it or not, I coached cheerleading for 8 years.
Nice.
And I did girls
Yeah.
drill team for like 3 years. So
Yeah.
those are a couple of things that I've done in sports.
And unfortunately, we are running way out of time. I would love to talk more and more about everything, but we have to end it today. So thank you so much for coming in.
No problem.
And thank you, Marysville, for tuning
watching.
in.
Yes.
Yeah. You have a fantastic day.
You
and
do
you
too.
Goodbye.